Hey, welcome to On the Record with Chaii, a Play It Strange podcast. I'm Chaii, artist, producer, creative director, and a Play It Strange alumni. We're here to unpack different corners of the music industry, one step at a time. Let's go. Concord Music Publishing is a leading independent publisher offering full-service creative support from A&R and sync to marketing to licensing. If you want to learn more about the world of publishing and sync, listen to our chat with the director of Concord NZ, Pennie Black. Pennie Black from Concord.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Man, we're going to dive right into it. Today I really want to talk to you about publishing, so we can talk a bit about that. Could you explain in simple terms for everyone what music publishing is?
Yes, so a music publisher represents the publishing copyright, and the publishing copyright is the written song, the lyrics, the melody, that sort of thing. Lots of people think that it's just the lyrics, but it's not. It's the complete written song. And the best way to kind of describe it is that it's opposite to the master recording, which is the recording of that written song.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well said. What does having a music publishing deal look like, and how can it benefit an artist?
Okay, so I'll tell you what a publisher does, I guess,
Awesome.
is probably the best way. So there's kind of three main things that a publisher does. First and foremost, they collect royalties and register your copyrights and protect your publishing copyright worldwide. And secondly is kind of like the cool part of the job, which is the A&R kind of side of things, and that's part of my role. So A&R is where you are representing the songwriter and you're trying to create a sustainable career for them. So you'll be supporting them, just kind of meeting up, seeing how they're going, where they've got writer's block and stuff. You try and kind of encourage them, find ways of getting them through, setting up sessions for them, finding management, booking agents, labels, that sort of thing, kind of like connecting, networking and relationships on their behalf. And then the third part is what I call the cherry on top, which is the sync part, which is placing music to normally visuals, so film, television, advertising, Instagram stories, TikTok, social media, that sort of thing.
I love that you said cherry on top.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, because it's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
So it's hard because a lot of people think that publishing is purely the sync side of things, and there are people that just do sync, sync agents that only pitch music for sync, but publishers do so much more. And then the second part of your question, what does a publishing deal look like? So there's various types, and there can be hybrids, but usually there's what's called a direct deal, and that's where you assign your rights to the publisher to represent you and exploit your songwriting copyright. And that's where a publisher will normally give you an advance on your royalties that they're collecting. I also like to explain this to people and say that it's a loan on your future earnings, because you have to remember you have to recoup it and pay it back. And that tends to be quite a long-term deal, because the publisher is investing in sustaining your career, building those relationships, getting sync placements to recoup that advance. And then the second kind of deal that's the most common is probably an admin deal, and that's where there's no advance, but they collect your royalties and do all the same work with A&R and sync on your behalf. Yeah.
Amazing. And do those two kind of contractually look quite different, or is it just more the difference is the advance?
They do contractually look quite different, and there can be hybrids of them. The direct deal can be quite a long term because of the fact that it has what's called retention, which is where if you decide that you'd like to no longer be published or move to a different company, the retention holds your back catalogue up to the end of your agreement, so that publisher can exploit it for a certain number of years.
What is the difference between publishing and master recording?
Yeah, so a publishing copyright is also known as a composition or a work, and that is as I said earlier, the written song and melody and lyrics. It can even be an instrumental if there's no lyrics, but it's actually that written song. And that's normally represented by a songwriter. In New Zealand, APRA represents songwriters when you don't have a publisher. APRA also represents publishers, and publishers represent songwriters as well. And then on a master recording side, that's the recording of the publishing copyright or the work or composition. And that's normally represented by an artist who's singing that song, and a label if they have one. And I guess the best way that I like to explain it is by using the example of, say, Slice of Heaven by Sir Dave Dobbin, my hero. And his song was covered by Coterie.
Yes.
And so in that instance, when someone covers a song, the songwriter still retains the publishing copyright, but the new master recording, which is a cover, goes to the artist that re-recorded it.
That's a great example, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you. I guess, yeah, so Concord, as you mentioned before, is both a publishing company and a record label. We've talked about, what the difference of both is. Maybe obviously you've got some artists that will come and just sign publishing.
Yes.
Just sign label or sign both.
Yes. What's the best way of explaining this? So Concord Music Publishing and Concord Label Group are two separate entities under an umbrella of Concord. Concord Music Publishing, we publish the Beths, but their label is Anti, not a Concord Label Group label. Under the label group, we have active labels like Easy Eye, Rounder, Concord Jazz, Concord Records. And I don't work in that space because we are people that work specifically in the label space. We also have like the Stax catalogue under the label group. Yep. But on the publishing side, we have a whole group of people that work in the Latin space, in the theatrical space. So we have like Rodgers and Hammerstein and Cole Porter, Sound of Music, that sort of thing. And we also have a company called Boozy and Hawks that licenses sheet music. So explaining that is when, say you have a choir that wants to sing Slice of Heaven and they want to print the lyrics out to give to the choir, there's a license that's required for that. And if there's an orchestra performing that and they want the actual music so they can read it, there's a license for obtaining that too.
Which is so good. In a way, it's like all obviously protecting
the intellectual property of everyone, which is like so important, really, really important. Yeah. And although publishing is a dark art, I love talking about it because it's so interesting, and it can be a good way to earn like passive income.
Yeah, and a lot of things can get kind of, I guess, with the pace of the music industry and the amount of music coming out and stuff, things can get out of hand. So if it wasn't for publishers, APRA, and like other people just helping be across all of that, because that is obviously a lot for an artist to keeping record of where everything is and
and it
happening
is
with the music.
Definitely a team effort. It is APRA, it is publishers, it is the songwriters working with those groups to help them understand and protect their copyright.
So for artists that they want to be more involved on the writing and producing side rather than being the front person, what are some ways to get started if they're more passionate about a bit more like the writing producing side?
So I think that the best way of doing that is it's about practice, right? So going to your community, finding other songwriters that and people that want to produce, and just kind of like cross-pollinating. So getting in a room together and practicing as much as possible, songwriting as much as possible. When you feel like you've kind of exhausted that area, you can go and find people and that you admire and see how they've grown their career, and you can like see if there's some ways that, or some tips that you can pick up there that you can emulate. Another aspect of working in sessions like that is top lining. So that's kind of more like for someone who I guess is an artist who struggles with maybe the music writing, but they can write lyrics. And top lining is something that I think more and more people are learning about. I kind of want to use the example of Has beats and Milu, because Has creates the beats, Milu provides the lyrics and the top lining melody and things like that. And so there's a space for, a songwriter, a producer and a top liner in a room. And I guess another point that I would like to stress is that before you go into that room, talk about Nashville splits.
Yes.
And Nashville splits are where you split the song 3 ways or by however many people are in the room. And normally the top liner, because if you work out, a third, there's 33.33 and then another 33.33, but then the top liner normally gets the 33.34. Yeah. And if you, at the end of the session, if you decide that perhaps someone's done a little bit more, then you can negotiate that way. But it's easier to go into a room knowing how you want to split it first.
I love that. And also, I guess, what about for someone, say, they've done their music, they've recorded it, and the collaboration comes further down the line in the process of making that song. Are there other conversations around splits when it's not all made in the room in that moment with the evident people?
Yeah, I think that can always be like a negotiation. So you mean like say a top liner decides they want to contact an EDM artist or something like that, and they want to kind of add lyrics and a melody to that, and then they do it online.
Or the producer wants to add a little bit more production on, like they need some, more on that side or on the writing side. In that sense.
Yeah, I think that just kind of like being able to discuss it and just work it out is the best way. To throw a spanner in the works, if you don't know how K-pop works, part of the way that they negotiate splits or song shares is they work it out by a mathematical equation where it's how many like bars and that sort of thing, and then so someone might get 8 bars and that might be 2.5% of a song, that sort of thing. So if you want to get technical, you could get down to that if you were having issues, but I think for the most part we're New Zealand, we're mates, you can work it out.
I think those conversations are just really important to have and have an understanding of, especially because I think as much as we're mates, which is a great thing, I think down the line it can get a bit more complicated, or it's always nice to be really transparent about these things, which and it does get like the K-pop one where you said gets complicated, and I've had moments where it's like, okay, I'll have like a melody line and it's got gibberish, and I need on this verse there's a melody flow and line, and then someone comes in and puts lyrics to that flow for that specific verse. Yeah, you can go down the research route of like just figure out what that is, like when it comes to accreditation or splits, making sure it's fair, because there is I think it's very important conversation to be had. And what I love about like writing camps is that it's evenly split.
Always.
So good. You're there in that moment. I think it only starts getting complicated is when like you're 2 years into production and writing the songs, and then there's new aspects of those bits that you want, and you obviously, I think it always makes it a better song if it needs do it, because some people avoid it to maybe hold on to publishing or to and that's sometimes disadvantage to the song and what it could have become if you don't collaborate.
The other thing about splits or shares of a composition or a song is that if it doesn't add up to 100%, then the performance rights organisations like APRA and things like that will hold it in what's called dispute. So it can't be placed in, like, can't be licensed for sync. The money can't be distributed. There are ways around it, like if lawyers are holding it in escrow and things like that, but for the most part it does make it difficult. So getting in there at the beginning, discussing it, also discussing how the master recording works as well, because if you're an artist, you write the song, it's awesome, you want to make sure that you can release that song.
There's a lot of like, I think, assumptions and like, oh yeah, it was like this last time, it'll be like this one this time. No, we're dealing with different people, different territories in the world maybe, or different.
Yeah.
Some people are used to working that way, and so I think these conversations, that's maybe the main reason to have them, is just not assuming that, oh, I work this way, that person must work this way, or
And it's kind of like, even though it's like the business admin side, and for the most part people are like, I don't want to do that, I'm just creative. It's a really important thing to learn about. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The business side.
Yeah.
It saves you so much headaches.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of, I'm in high school.
Yep.
And I've just started to do music, and I'm learning about, the publishing, the label side and things like that. Do you go contacting a publisher, or is it more of a wait to be discovered? Like, what is, can you?
Yeah, so publishers find songwriters that they want to work with by a number of means. It can be a songwriter contacting us. A lot of publishers will say we don't take demos or submissions and things like that. For me personally, I don't mind people contacting me, and if I have the time, I'll meet up with them to talk to them. The other way that we find songwriters is through networks.
Cool.
So it might be somebody at a label, it might be a lawyer, it might be, for the most part, it's other songwriters we work with who go, I was in a writing session with this person, you should talk to them, they were amazing,
So word of mouth, so it's important to get into those sessions, show up at your best, do your best, and be on time. All those things go a long way.
Key,
like being reliable.
Being on time. Yeah.
I think the biggest part in what I've experienced with, briefs, or with your music, or say my song was chosen that wasn't part of a brief, it's the being able to give the assets and things on time. It's like, hey, we need this in 3 hours.
Yeah.
And once you build that reputation of you're reliable, or you turn up to your sessions on time, all those things, I think, really go a long way when it comes to like,
and
keeps
being
the
present.
publisher happy, keeps the music supervisors who are working on it happy. Like, it just being present.
Being present in the room.
Yeah.
Like, don't come in and nap on the couch.
No,
It's not going to help.
So what do you think makes a track stand out to make it a great fit for sync for movies, shows, ads, etc.?
Sorry, is this where I ask you that question?
No, you're open.
Okay, sorry.
I'll ask it again. Actually, that was because I was looking down so much. What do you think makes a track stand out for it to then be a great fit for movies, shows, ads, etc.?
Yeah. So I've seen in the relatively long time I've been in this role, a lot of trends. I feel like positivity, upbeat, female empowerment, that sort of thing are really, really strong. During COVID, it was a lot of piano covers of well-known songs because they wanted to invoke emotion, in these unprecedented times, that sort of thing. Also a lot of songs where they start off slow and then build up with emotion, or start slow and then have quite a significant drop, like in, like EDM and stuff like that. But, you've had a lot of sync. What's your experience?
Yeah, well, I think exactly how you said it. It's a lot of those factors, and it's kind of like, the song taking people on a journey and the unexpected ways of the song. For me personally, a lot of the songs that weren't streaming well were the ones that were more synced more into movies, because if it's not streaming, means potentially it's not and doesn't fall maybe into the mainstream bracket, which means it could be something fresh, and ads and movies and stuff tend to be looking for something fresh, new. They're looking for a lot of times with publishing, with sync, like they're setting the next trends almost, like the next things that come into, they're the ones that I feel like take the risk for introducing like other genres or types of music, depending obviously on the movie and the ad. But in my own experience, it's always been, they always kind of selected the song that was kind of like quite, out of the box, quite far out of the box. And there's multiple ways. So it was either having songs that were about to come out, that were from the publishers I'm with being pitched to music supervisors before it's out, or saying, hey, this is the music that's about to come out, or it would be music's already out and it's music supervisor or a movie or an ad, they're like, we want that song, and they'll pick your song like that. Or it would be a brief or a cover of a song. It was like I think it was for what's the boxing? Oh my god, never mind. UFC.
Oh, yep.
UFC. For UFC, it was like a rock song. Frankie Goes to Hollywood or something.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, the flip of it. And I kind of like went to brief, but I was cheeky and I went a little bit off brief a little bit and like put in my own taste to it. And I think that was kind of cool. They were like, oh, this works great. You're doing a flip of a song. But most of the time, it was because just at the time I would be making music that I wanted to make, and it just so happened it was fresh, and obviously I mix a lot of like Persian influences and a lot of experimentation in my music, and it's developed over the years, but it's definitely helps an artist to see a pocket where your music fits, and just kind of gives you like, yay, you know.
Yeah, I think there's like a couple of key points that you've mentioned there. One of them is the covers side of things, and that is a massive trend that I see where, like you're saying, it's not a straight cover. It's almost like reading the lyrics, listening to the song, and completely like reinterpreting it so it's completely different. One of the songs that we represent is Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight, and that's one that is covered quite a lot, and you can make that sound really creepy or like, you know, really like, yeah, chill, you know. And the other key point is the fact that you're staying close to your creative, you know, ideal of what you want to put out there. I think if people try to adapt their music for sync, you know, as I was saying earlier, it's a cherry on top type thing. They can be quite disappointed when they're not landing syncs. So I think staying true to yourself is really, really important.
100%, because I think if you're not, again, landing a sync is a cherry on top, and it can be such a difficult thing. And you said if I'm changing my music for sync purposes, so now I'm at disconnect with my music firstly, and it falls under my brand as an artist, not just me writing to brief behind the scenes, it's gonna, you know, it'll hurt. Whereas like when you make something you're proud of and you're happy with, doesn't sync, doesn't stream, I don't care. It's like it's a nice feeling to be like, I'm proud of what I made. Yeah, that's awesome. And I think people see that authenticity if you take risks and authentic with your music, because I think everyone has that side to them of making music that's authentic to them, which might not 100% fall into the mainstream scene, and to that there is hope for that music too. Like if it feels natural to you and that's your path, I think that's great. But then also some people might just want to write to brief, and that's also, you know, another, if they look at it as like a path to take to, hey, I'm going to do a lot of outside of a artist project, just the writing to brief and sending it in to be submitted. What do you think, like what are the are there a lot of people that you work with where they just write not just so, but where they're writing mainly to submit their songs for briefs, but they don't have an artist project, so they're more behind the scenes?
We do have some songwriters that do that. So there are people that do write specifically for sync purposes, and you mentioned the word brief. And to explain what a brief is, basically it's when a music supervisor or an advertising agency or a film or TV person comes to you with a scene or a product, and they want a song that's written to a specific kind of description. So they might say, I want a version of Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight in an electronic way, you know, with female vocals or something like that. Or, you know, you might have an example of a brief that you've written for that you can explain what they asked for. Yeah,
there was, I think the UFC one was a good example. It said like energetic. I remember reading the brief and I was just like, I know exactly what they mean, but I definitely got cheeky with it. But yeah, there was like, it was way far from the original. So, I think there's this thing of like when they do covers and they want a complete different flip of it, it's just having that little bit of familiarity in it. And then obviously they're handing it to artists or writers that can then put their originality to it, and it's got best of both worlds. So it's just like when people are watching the advertisement, it's got a little bit of, it's nothing super new. I mean, a lot of times they do want originals as well, but yeah, I think just it's okay to really like move away from the original. A few times where I also didn't listen to the original, so if it's something I hadn't listened to, and like that one, is it Frankie Goes to Hollywood?
Yeah,
I probably hadn't. I briefly heard that song and I hadn't heard it in years, and I decided not to hear it.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that it would be like a fresh spin. So I looked at the lyrics, and Frank, he'd heard it, but he produced a beat that was like completely different. So I approached it completely fresh.
Yeah,
and then I listened to the song after, we're like, huh. But yeah, there's different approaches I think you can take to not to put a flip to it. Those few, I haven't done too many actually. Too many cover brief ones.
Yeah,
I've done a few briefs where, I've done one like the recent one with Mercury, which was my song Light Switch, but then with new lyrics to fit the brief, to fit the visual. And that song I'd recorded 8 years ago. So to re-record it again with like the same vocals, that was something I hadn't done yet, which was taking your song and redoing it.
Did you have to rewrite the lyrics, or did the advertising creative rewrite the lyrics for you?
No, so I rewrote the lyrics. There was a little bit of swearing in it in the hook, so I just had to like take that out. And I went into the agency. They showed me the video, and they were like just lyrics that would fit with this a bit more.
Yeah,
it was more they loved the energy of the song. I said light switch in it, so power company, that helps. I think, hooky in the sync world, like super hooky, catchy, even when it's original songs, if it's, positive, hooky, catchy, it can be read in multiple ways kind of thing. Like the lyrics are kind of broad or a feeling rather than a personal story.
Yeah.
Which I naturally always do in my music, because I'm more about like the music feeling overall rather than like word by word my story.
Yeah,
which I think again naturally put me into a better place when it comes to sync.
I think
hooky.
Yeah, and that's successful. With the sync is because it's emotion that they're looking for. Key, that's the key thing. They want emotion in the visual brought through by sound. So, if you think of film and TV, if you think of a scene, and imagine if they had an amazing scene, I'm just going to be tragic and say Titanic, the end scene. Yeah. I think I've seen that film once, but like say if they changed the music from, and they put in, I don't know, Super Groove, Can't Get Enough. Like, it's not going to invoke the same emotion.
It's great content, though.
Yeah.
Putting the wrong song.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot sometimes for someone, a music supervisor that had worked on one of the ones that I had. She mentioned they'd gone through 300 songs before my song had come across their radar.
Yeah.
300 songs for one scene.
Yeah.
Which is wild. There's like directors involved. There's a feeling. It always goes around the feeling thing. So staying true to your feeling and making music that captures any type of feeling, I think is always a good road. But feeling,
also, you've mentioned music supervisors. I've mentioned music supervisors.
Yes.
So a music supervisor is a person that works very closely with the client, which would be the film, TV director, the advertising agency person. They're not always there, but sometimes they are. And it's becoming increasingly common in New Zealand. And then they work with a publisher or a songwriter or an artist to get the latest songs and place them, or just find the right songs for the right project. And sometimes music supervisors in New Zealand kind of just clear the music, but more increasingly they get involved with the project right from the beginning, like right from the funding, read the script, work out what kind of budget will be needed for the project. And so that way they can really help the songwriter get the best fee for their songs, which is really important.
So music supervisor, a big role.
Yeah. Important people to know.
Networking, that's the other thing we were talking about earlier, is a huge part of, like, I put that down to networking as well. Like, I traveled a lot to LA and with label BMG, so I'd like really there's people behind labels and publishers. There's people behind, you know, the music supervisors. It's when there's like I feel like when you're working with someone and you're collaborating, isn't it nice to like see them?
Yeah.
It comes down to that. It's just, you know.
And I feel like publishing for the most part, and I guess anything that's, you know, kind of like the business part of music is definitely relationships.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about the people that you know, who you can work with, and getting to know as many people as possible. Because I always say without the musicians, like I wouldn't have a job because I can't make music and I love music. So I want to help people as much as possible.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, reputation, I think building yourself a reliable reputation where it's just like they can count on you and they're like, oh, that's a human.
Yeah.
There's a human behind that music. We can count on them. We can say, hey, we need this in 3 hours. You know, there's been so many times where I've been in the middle of like nowhere and you need to need to send the stems, for instance.
Yeah.
And those are things I learned over time is like, no matter the song, have all my assets done with the mix engineer and stuff just in case. Yeah. Like you're in the middle of somewhere and you can't get those assets. So I always have those in mind, and I think that goes a long way to building that reputation of just like, okay, you can rely on me. Like I got you if it turnovers quickly, and you know, especially when it's landed. After that, things move quite fast sometimes. Yeah. And I've noticed. Yeah. You can't be one of those artists that's like, oh, I'll get around to that, or
no, like you're saying, 300 songs for that one scene. If they've got someone and they don't have all the creative assets for that song, and they've just chosen it off a streaming service, then they won't use it. They'll move on to the next thing. You know, so I guess what you're saying is like being prepared with your creative assets, which is your music. We always ask for the WAV file, the instrumental, the lyrics, the artwork.
Clean version.
Yep, clean version. That's really important. And also, if you can, putting the metadata in your WAV file information, you know, because music supervisors and publishers and things use audio software that reads all that, and they're searchable, so you can search for like BPM and vocals and things like that. So it just makes everyone's job easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make people's jobs easier. They want to work with you again.
Exactly.
Keep making cool music. Oh, that's amazing. Let's talk about songwriting camps. You're talking about that you'd done one recently. What do the songwriting camps look like, and how are these camps important to our industry?
Okay, so the types of camps that I've worked with there's kind of two types. There's like a songwriting camp where you bring in the songwriter, the top liner, the producer. It's always normally kind of like one person on the tools, so it can be like an engineer producer, one person who is probably the artist and is also a songwriter, and then what I like to call the magic third, which is the person that kind of comes in, brings the talks to the person who's songwriting as well, and kind of brings out the magic, like, what are you feeling? What do you want to convey? That sort of thing. Similar to Song Hubs with APRA, same thing, Nashville splits going, and a lot of the time what you're looking for in a songwriting camp is generally the output will be for the artist project, or it could be that you're just putting different songwriters together to see what comes out of it, just to help them kind of fine tune their songwriting craft. The other type is like a sync songwriting camp, and that's where we bring a music supervisor into the sessions with briefs that we spoke of earlier, and we get those 3 people in the room to write to a specific brief for a film or TV show. And that is super exciting because it really invigorates the songwriters that are in the room, because they're like, we know what the outcome needs to be. Whereas like songwriting camps are all about the creativity. Sync camps are about the creativity, but they know there's an end result, and that, and if that song lands in a placement in a TV show, it's like, yeehaw,
It's so good. And it's, I feel like it's always exciting as creatives in a room when there is a brief, it takes off the pressure of like, it's for an artist project or it's for this, and suddenly you make your best work in that environment. It's like putting on a character sometimes. And
Yeah.
it could still be true to the artist, but you're kind of like, oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
Fast and Furious. It's driving song. And you can just have fun, I feel like, and let go and have fun, which is cool about it.
And you don't have to stay, like you're saying, like within the genre that you kind of may think that you fit in. So, you might experiment in like country or hip hop or whatever, and there's so many songwriting camps going on continuously, like Concord, because we're such a massive independent and global. We have, Latin song camps in Mexico. We have one in Ireland, which is just for advertising. We also have camps where we write. The people come together and work with Netflix, or it might just be Fox. So it could be a network kind of situation. So it's kind of really exciting, and it's really exciting to hear what comes out of those. Because we share those songs with our global team, so we're always really excited to see what's been happening. And
that's so cool. And I'm sure that some of those people in the room will be surprised by the outcome of a side of them that they probably never thought they would hear, whether it's something they do with their vocals or the style of producing, and then they add that to their own artist work. And they're like, cool, I've got this side of me and I felt badass.
And it ends up being too that some people like be in that songwriting camp, they may not have met each other before, and then they go off and they, someone produces their album, or they work together and do something really cool, and it's really invigorating for songwriters to and also because songwriting's so like I guess isolating, right?
Yeah, a lot of times you don't, especially in New Zealand. I feel like all the artists, we like want to catch up and collaborate, but it can be quite like we need that push of writing camps a lot of times to remind us. And
and it makes you kind of like have that bonding, which I think kind of really helps your mental health, which is really important. You're
kind of all in the same mental space. And you're like, I'm not alone. This is another reminder that we can come together and make great music. And writing camps, I think I've always gotten a lot out of the writing camps, like regardless of the music gets released or not. It's more the people you meet, the things you discover about yourself through working with different people, being in a different environment. I think all of that really is great for you as a writer, producer, artist. Like writing camps, I want to go to more.
What's the biggest writing camp that you've attended?
Biggest in terms of like
how many people?
It'll probably be Song Hub's like amount of people.
That's normally like
it's like
12?
3 or 4 rooms across 4 or 5 rooms. 4 rooms.
So 16, 20. That's cool. Some of the ones that
20
that Concord do in Nashville and all that sort of thing are over 100 people. But they include like the A&R, the sync people and the music supervisors, but they'll have so many writers and producers and things. And I'm just like, whoa, that's crazy. I haven't attended one of those, but I can't wait to do that.
I would love to too. That sounds amazing. I think
hook it up later.
I like the idea of that, and I would love to do that and partake in that, because I love that side of like everyone else being there. But there is something refreshing about the way it is in New Zealand. So we had like Ninth Wonder at the last one. And he was saying, I love that you guys get in the studio and it's all about the music and you're not thinking about the business. When you're in there, everyone's shut off their business mind and you're all creating for the love of music. And I think that's something maybe in bigger cities and bigger countries can be a little bit and being more connected to what you're about to write. And but I guess again, seasoned artists and things like that, and in bigger cities, it doesn't matter if there's 100 people there or 2 people, you know how to tap into that emotion a lot of times. So
but I think that you raise a key point. Like a lot of people think the best thing for me to do is go to LA, go to Nashville, go to the UK, and I actually think building your songwriting prowess in New Zealand is really, really important. I think it's easier to be a big fish in a small pond than vice versa,
100% agree.
And
you can no, after you.
There you go. I just feel like that camaraderie and stuff and support is just really important, and when you go overseas, you're isolated again. You're probably going to be ending up working with expats and stuff if you move to a different city to start with, so you're starting at square one.
100%. I feel that's also the advantages of being here as well. Firstly, you can work on your craft and find your sound and you're so much closer to industry people at
Yeah.
the top of the chain. Like you're like one person. You're not even one person. You're directly
Yeah.
can be in contact with
Yeah.
with whether it's like publishers, labels, people in the industry, other musicians, producers you look up to, one message away, and it can.
Yeah.
It's probably like someone that you know knows them, or
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing that's amazing. And then once you're in those bigger cities, that's your kind of portfolio, I guess, or like the experience you've had. You know how to navigate and be in those rooms. And
and you've lost a little bit of your social anxiety, which is, because we all get that. Like I still get that now when I'm meeting people that I don't know, or I'm trying to, form relationships with new people in the industry, or maybe people that come over here. So it's always practice. So the more you do it here, the easier it is when you get international.
Become a pro, and then you go over and you're like, hey.
Hey.
They love Kiwis overseas. They love Kiwis.
Flight of the Concords, right?
And we're pretty chill. Like I think they see us as very laid back. And I think there's a lot of characteristics that we get from being an artist or musician or producer in New Zealand that are kind of seen as a very you get seen as a bit more like maybe easier to collaborate with as well. Because you go in a lot more chill and a lot more open to everyone and ideas and different cultures and different things. And that's things that you pick up in New Zealand. So I think, it is definitely a plus. Like,
have you ever experienced like maybe not conflict, but maybe kind of just like different points of view when you've been in the writing session? Like how do you kind of navigate that?
I've witnessed it. Wow. Oh my God, I can't say that word. I have seen it in sessions. For me personally, I love sessions to take their natural course, and like for I'm always like what is it, like mediator or something? Like
yep, that's right.
I'm just like there, and it's like and let it kind of. I've never really been in a session where there's been like two people headbutting or anything. It's always been, everyone's just been really respectful of everyone's idea, and you kind of follow those through, and there's a process, and everyone has their own process. Maybe I've felt in the room, maybe like, again, I go and I'm just like, I can mold and shift, and like, I feel like that again comes from me not being like a one genre kind of artist, and being able to like, I feel confident in different spaces. And I think if an artist goes in and they're like way more like one type of sound, they might find it a bit nerve-wracking to move away from that when someone suggests something, and that's when it can get a bit.
I imagine it's like nervous energy for being outside their comfort zone. So it's kind of like, it's not real conflict or anything. It's just kind of like navigating through to make people feel at ease.
And I think just trying to, the best thing is going in with an open mind to these camps and being okay to try new things, because again, that can become your superpower, the thing you just went out of your comfort zone a bit. I remember like with the one in 2020 with Rory Noble, he was like, oh, I should like sing this part. At this point, I'm like a lot more melodic rapper. I don't heavily like, it was like full like, and I was like, mate, I'll give it a go. Let's do it. And like together, we all like, it was real cute because everyone came together and we all did, did a layer to it. So it doesn't feel like isolated. I think it's really appreciated from like the artist side when there is that thing of like, it's okay if you mess up, or it's okay. And it was so fun. And that added a new tool to my kit, and it might not be like, they got to sing as well. Actually, it was Pineapple Pizza. It was
cool.
a fortnight. But imagine if I was like, no, and I even ended up putting it out. It was so different to any of my other music. But it's just removing that thing of like, I've got my one sound and I'm going to be stubborn to it. And I was just like, no, that's just naturally another side. And it was super fun making it. And why not put it out? And I've always never been like, scared of showing those different sides. And I think some people might see that as a negative thing of just like, oh, you're not sticking like the branding side, oh, it's jumping too many times. For me, I'm like, if I jump heaps and make that the norm, then I can like have a scope to play with and be like, cool. But again, if you just do those things, you get out of your comfort zone, and that could become like, at some point, maybe someone's turning point in their career.
And I think that practice of just working with people from different backgrounds and stuff. And I guess, as a songwriter and artist, you're wearing your heart on your sleeve every time you release something. So why not open up when you're in the writing session?
Yeah. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
You write a song that maybe is good, not meant for you. You pitch it for other artists, for instance, or for sync, or doesn't go anywhere. But there's been times where songs like come out of it and it wasn't good for anyone, but it's like a decent song and it goes out into the world and we send it around and it lands like 5 years later into something.
Yeah.
And then 5 years later, say it does land, and at that point in time, the song really makes sense in the time you're in. And you're like, oh, actually, I put it out as an artist thing because it's got a sync, so it's got a little bit of a push behind the song. And then you can choose to, like, there's just no time thing to it. There's just being free with your music and letting it just be out there and be open to like having it thrown at those opportunities that could potentially happen, or nothing happens.
Yep.
A lot of nothing happens with a lot of songs, with a lot of my songs as
and
well.
that's probably the worst thing that can happen is the nothing. So it's actually not that big a deal, right?
No,
because you're still being creative.
Yes, extra song. A lot of people's was it trash folder songs?
Yeah,
have been massive hits for international artists.
Yeah,
I've heard that story over and over again of like, just because like you're not feeling it doesn't mean it can't be golden to someone else or to something else.
Yeah, for sure.
Love the camps. We should do a camp.
Yes, I reckon.
I did 2 back-to-back ones. That was mentally interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll be. It was good. It just got a bit cuckoo. Say it's someone's first camp. What do you think they could do to be prepared for it, whether it's like mentally or like skills wise or anything? Like, what is something they could do?
I think being on time, being reliable, being willing to be open, but also sometimes you might want to have an idea that you come with, but I also feel like it's more liberating to go in completely fresh. But what do you think about that?
I love the going in fresh because there's this nervous, like good excitement, nervous energy that everyone across the board has. And it turns a little bit competitive, which I love about camps because you're just like, oh my God, we're all listening to each other's songs at the end of this. It does sound risky, but I think it's always the magic that comes out of going in. But if it's like your first camp and you're new to, I guess, songwriting, just the simple things of, like you said, turning up on time, bringing the good vibes.
Yeah.
Like, it's a collaborative space, not making it just about yourself. And realizing
maybe having a good sleep the night before.
Realizing it's a space where it's a safe space that everyone's gonna share really personal stories and being, I guess, self-aware of like in the room, just supportive of those situations,
Yeah, because in a writing camp too, or a writing session, there's only the 3 people that are writing the song in there. So when we're kind of talking about music supervisors and briefs and things, they might come and deliver that first thing in the morning, but then they leave you alone, So it's not like you're actually having to share your deepest, darkest kind of fears in front of other people other than those songwriters with you.
And I guess if it's your first time, you don't have to also like go in straight away because you've seen people do that. You don't have to go in and be like, okay, so what's the saddest story about me, or what's, it's usually, a lot of times it's like you're just having a conversation and you're like, oh yeah, I went to the park and da-da-da, and then it naturally leads to like someone's story that inspires the song, like indirectly.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's straight up like the artist comes in and we, you ask the artist, you're like, hey, what are you feeling like today? If it's not sync camp, if it's just the artist camp, then be like, how you feeling? What's the vibe you want to go for? And they're like, well, I just came out of a breakup and da-da-da, and then they usually feel safe enough to like go in about it, talk about it, and we all try to like embody that or channel in an experience that we've had similar to that and go live in that moment for a bit so we can like all come and write to their, So I guess it's different. If it's their first time camp and you sit down and people are asking you, firstly it's up to you if you want to share, and if it's like, oh, okay, it's about the artist, or what are you feeling today and stuff, you can be real honest and say it. But if it's, again, like a sync situation, there's a brief, it's okay to also just listen and just be there and like, and not be scared to say your ideas. But also there's sometimes I've noticed with someone who's like, if it's they're new to writing, they won't let the process kind of happen. Like early on, they will be like, oh, that sounds bad, or this, oh, why is it like da 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 da? And I think that's something you pick up with writing music for a longer time, is that you see that sometimes it goes through very ugly phases.
Yeah.
Like all my songs go through a really horrible, you should give up moment before they turn into something. And producers have that. They go through all the like sounds and it sounds bad and stuff. And I think it can be that can throw people off if you don't let them fully have a moment to get through with that process.
Yeah.
And then kind of, they'll usually be like, oh yeah, how does that sound? And that's your moment to be like, oh, I think like, the snare's probably like too loud, or it could be, or we need to drop here, or that verse is not working, or
so
you gotta let it get to that
true journey in the room.
Yeah. And I've only noticed that when if you're kind of more new to it, then it's just like people turning down ideas straight away and not letting it kind of develop. And a lot of times the good ideas need time to develop.
That's a super cool point.
But, again, just go in with an open mind, listen and let it happen, and
Organic.
And in saying that, what are some advice that you would give to artists who want to grow their writing career?
So I feel like practicing as much as possible. If you're not going to writing sessions, because that's probably like a step, a little bit too far, then write with your friends. Maybe journal, like to help, with ideas for songwriting. And just practice, I think, is really, really important. And just the building those relationships and networking is really key. So, I mean, there's a number of bodies or organisations in New Zealand that you can join, and they have summits and mentoring sessions. And I think those are really important because they help you meet people that can help you in your career, but also help you, fine tune your songwriting craft.
Amazing.
Like get to know APRA. They've got song hubs. You might not be successful every time you apply, but at some stage you're going to be able to get in there.
Because I've heard sometimes it does take quite for me as well, when it comes to funding or camps and stuff, it hasn't always been like, you have to apply quite a few times sometimes. So it's not letting that get to you and just being able to continue.
Don't give up if you don't get funding, because I feel like some of the best things are DIY. Best, like kind of adapting and being resilient is what you need to be creative. So just
DIY.
kind of,
do as much as you can. That's awesome. That's great advice.
For sure.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Knowledge, and it's just it's amazing. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Thank you so much, legend. Thank you.